This next video is going to walk you through the links between the tag document and the Map RFP scraping. So the process begins by first uploading an RFP. You can do this by dragging and dropping, or just hit the browse for file and then selecting the document you want to upload. Once that document gets uploaded, they'll then go into the tagging phase, where you just go into the drop down and you select which section of the RFP you want to tag. In this case, I'm just going to tag section B, because the main intent of this training video is just to show you how the information gets tagged and how it gets rendered, and how you can change different parameters to change the outcomes or the sequence in which things get tagged within the map tool. So in this case, I'm going to go into section B, and I'm just going to tag section B4 here. So I'm going to, a small section, just tag that real quick, and I'm going to hit save. And you'll get the notice back that things were saved successfully. This tells you that things have been scraped and are now available in the mapping tool. And it also lets you know that an item has been linked to the document. So in this case, section B item has been tagged and is linked to the document. Now, if you were to try to go to hit next to take a look at the map, you're going to get an error message. And this is telling you that you need to tag at least 2 sections, and one of those 2 sections has to be section L. So you always need an anchor section, which is section L. So we're just going to go down to section L real quick and tag just one small piece of that section, just so we can advance to the next screen. So we're going to hit save. And there we have the confirmation, and then you can also check out the links. So now we can move on to the next. And you'll see on the right-hand side that we have section B here, right? And this is all scraped by sentence. So we have 3 different sections within that one area that we scraped. So now if I were to go back and tag a section before B4, in this case, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to select section B again, and I'm going to just tag B1 general, and hit save. And then we get confirmation. We go back over to the map screen, and you'll notice that there is B1 in front of B4. Again, we always scrape from the top of the document to the back of the document. And so despite the fact that we tagged section B4 first, it doesn't matter. It's still going to end up falling in behind the previous section, because that's how it fell in the document. And you'll notice that when we first tagged this information, B4 was actually linked to the code B00001. Well, now it's linked to B003 because we re-numbered everything when we went through and tagged again. So anytime you add a new tag to a section and you hit save again, it's going to wipe out that section and renumber all the items within that section. So if I were to go back once again, and I would go and tag the section in the middle, again, section B. Hit OK, and then go to the map. You'll notice that I have B, B1, B2, B3, and B4 all in the correct order. So if you wanted to remove a section, so let's say, for whatever reason, you no longer wanted a section in there, there's a couple of options you have. One is to simply just go in the tool and select the sections that you want to exclude, and they'll disappear, right? And you'll notice that the counter went from 9 to 8 in that particular case. So that is an option you have if you just want to remove something that you previously tagged and you don't want to show it anymore. I'm going to go ahead and bring those back. And one of the options is also to go and remove a tag. So in this case, I'm going to go back and I'm going to remove the section 2 and 3. So I'm going to say remove tag. I'm going to click on one of the flags or one of the tags, and it's going to disappear. I'm going to hit save. Confirmation, go back over, and you'll notice that sections 2 and 3 have been removed. Now, if I had mapped something in here, and then I tried to remove a tag section, I'm actually going to get an error message. So I hit the remove tag, I click on a section, and I get an error message saying you cannot delete tag if it has dependencies. So if you hit OK, this doesn't mean you can't actually go back and modify that. So if you go back into the tool and you remove that dependency, so I'm going to hit the negative sign next to the dependency here to remove it. So it's no longer mapped. And then I go back to the tag document screen, and I go back to remove that tag again. Since that dependency has been removed, it will allow me to remove the dependency. I can then hit save. And I can once again see that now it has been scraped, and it only includes that one section that has been tagged. So that walks you through the tagging process and how it links to the scraping of information that shows up in the Map RFP screen. We're also going to have another video that explains how this works when you have multiple documents that you're working with. So in this case, we just had one document, but what if you had 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 documents and you had section Bs that crossed over into multiple documents? So we're going to show you how that can be managed as well. So we just covered how you've taken an RFP and loaded it into the tag RFP tool, and then we tagged tagged a couple sections within the tool and saved it, which then scraped that information and rendered it into the Map RFP tool. And within the Map RFP tool, you'll notice that the section L, the instructions section, was loaded on the left-hand side. We call that the anchor section. And all the other sections that you tag are going to get loaded on the right-hand side of the tool, and then you would simply map or align the different requirements to the instructions within the Map RFP tool. Now, when you do select an area to tag and save it and it scrapes it, it is going to parse that information by either sentence or paragraph. And so we have the different sections on the right-hand side that are scraped and parsed by sentence, and then all the different sections that we scrape and parse by paragraph. Now, the reason we did that is there are certain sections within the RFP that are extremely long, and if we were to parse those by a sentence, you would have thousands of lines that you potentially would have to discretely map. And so what we decided was we parse it by paragraph and then allow you to go within those sections and break that down into, or split those sections into the different sentences you want to discretely map. It's a very quick tool within the Map RFP tool, and there's a separate training video on how to split sections, but that tool allows you to very quickly take a larger paragraph and break it down into discrete sub-sentences, and then which will then allow you to map content to the instructions on the left-hand side of the screen. So that is it for this particular video.